Hey y'all, I'm gonna do a little follow-up video on how we're waxing this particular piece that we just finished up in the store. It's totally inspired by a piece from Leslie Stalker at Colorways. So you should also check out her stuff on Pinterest and blog, etc. But we did our own version of this cool technique with basically colors that are opposite on the color wheel. So there's blue underneath, and there's a mixture of orange and red, so Barcelona orange and Emperor silk, and a little bit of accenting and distressing to show it through. So really, once the paint's dry, this is just a fun follow-up to my more in-depth and detailed videos on the waxing process. So I'm applying just the clear wax by Annie Sloan, and of course I have my handy dandy well-loved wax brush, the large version. So this will be your favorite tool, your best friend when you're going to wax. So I'm going to have a little bit on my brush and really just work it into all the pores of the paint. And because I painted every which way, I'm kind of really working it in and getting the wax on every which way. So I'm not needing to really work the same spots over and over and over again. Really just a good amount of wax, really spread it on. And when you feel like your brush has run out of wax, you'll take your lint-free cloth, and my favorite are the shop towels because they are truly lint-free. You're going to use this and it's going to absorb the excess wax off of your surface. So I fold in a little square and letting my tool do the work, I'm going to gently but firmly kind of wipe the excess away. So you want to make sure that you're getting the excess wax off of the surface and really pressing it down into the pores of the paint. But you also want to make sure that you're not like scrubbing at it and bringing up too much shine too early. You want to give a little bit of a chance for the wax to dry before you do buff it. And when I get a lot of wax on my rag, I actually will go and turn to a new side so that I can keep absorbing the excess off of the surface. So you don't need to apply too much wax on there. It doesn't need to be, you know, almost like extensively buttered toast, if that makes sense. So think about it almost like you're applying hair conditioner or lotion. If it feels like there's too much on there, if it feels residuey, if it feels just kind of like sticky and, you know, slimy, there's too much on there. Just keep gently wiping it back. And I generally like to go from one direction to the next if I have a flatter surface and not as much of a textured surface as this. That way I can make sure that it looks nice and even. Sometimes what can happen, you go back and forth a ton on a very, very flat and pristine surface, you can notice a little bit, again, of that shine because it kind of buffs it too early. So all of these things, though, are fixable. I would say just practice makes perfect. And for a high traffic surface like the top of this, I might come back in about maybe 48 hours and do a second very thin coat of the wax with the same process, wiping the excess away, just to make sure that, you know, I build up the durability. Someone might want to use this as their bedside table. But once that wax gets on there, let it cure. You know, like patience is truly, truly key when you're doing your own finishes yourself. If you get a new piece of furniture from an outlet or from IKEA or Pottery Barn, whatever top coat basically or whatever paint they put on, it's already been sitting on for, I mean, quite some time. I could imagine like well over a month, you know, going from production to actually being on the sales floor. So if you're doing a finish yourself, just keep in mind you may not be able to come back and use it like the very next day. So, you know, if you're doing your dining room table, you may need to have another option in the meantime, but truly the wax does hold up very well once it cures and dries. I mean, it's just a nice, hard, flat surface. So trust the wax.